You're ready to totally become an energy-saving superhero? Today we're diving deep into what it takes to be an energy conservation officer,
That's a cool job.
getting you ready to absolutely ace that interview and land a job where you can really make a difference.
Yeah, it's a field that's, I think, as much about passion as it is about practical solutions.
Totally.
So we'll uncover, those skills that make you a top candidate.
Okay.
And we'll, tackle those tricky interview questions.
Yes.
Give you the tools to impress any hiring manager.
Okay, let's jump right in. First up,
Yeah.
how did you become interested in energy conservation?
Yeah,
It seems straightforward,
right.
but what are they really trying to figure out when they ask you this question?
You're right. It's about more than just saying, I care about the environment. They want to know, your story, your why.
Yeah.
What sparked that passion? Was it something from your childhood or, some life-changing documentary you saw, or maybe even a light bulb moment
Yeah, I see what she did there.
that made you realize how important energy conservation is?
So instead of just giving some generic answer, really bring in something personal.
Absolutely. So did you convince your family to switch to energy-efficient appliances? Did you lead a recycling initiative? Maybe even spend your weekends auditing the energy consumption of your own home. Make it something that they can relate to. Make it memorable.
I love that because it really shows that you're genuinely interested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've heard that using the STAR method can be super effective here.
Mm-hmm.
Situation, task, action, result, turning your answer into kind of a mini success story. What do you think?
The STAR method is like a classic interview technique, and it works. It helps you structure your response in a
Okay.
way that's super clear and concise and easy for whoever is interviewing you to follow.
Yeah.
Plus, it lets you show off your skills and accomplishments in a way that's really relevant to the question.
Right.
And RoleCatcher's AI actually gives you feedback on this.
Oh, cool.
So it'll let you know if you've nailed the STAR method or if you need to tweak your delivery.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Having that AI feedback would be like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
totally.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. What do you think are the biggest challenges facing energy conservation efforts today?
Ooh.
This one feels like it requires some serious industry knowledge.
It does. This is where you demonstrate you're not just passionate, but you're informed.
Okay.
So don't just list generic challenges. Think about the complexities. Funding issues for energy efficiency programs, the ever-evolving technological landscape, even public perception, and resistance to change.
Wow. So many different things to keep in mind.
Yeah,
It's like a puzzle with multiple pieces from policy and economics to individual behavior.
exactly. And this is where something like RoleCatcher can be really valuable.
Right?
It can help you tailor your response to the specific company or role you're interviewing for.
Oh, that's really smart.
So, for example, if you're applying to a company that focuses on renewable energy, you'll want to highlight the challenges of integrating those sources into existing infrastructure.
That makes sense.
RoleCatcher can analyze the job description and provide targeted feedback,
That's so cool.
making sure your answer hits the mark. And, don't forget about those real-world examples.
Yeah.
Maybe you read a recent article about a promising energy technology facing regulatory hurdles,
Right.
or a community struggling to fund energy-efficient upgrades for low-income housing. Weaving in those details shows you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Love it. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty with this next question. What strategies have you used to increase energy efficiency in buildings? This one feels like it's all about your practical experience.
You got it. Imagine yourself walking into a building for the first time, thermal camera in hand, like an energy detective searching for those sneaky leaks and inefficiencies.
Oh, I like that.
That's what energy auditing is all about.
Okay, that's such a great visual.
Yeah.
So you've done your audit. What's next?
So now it's about turning those findings into action. Have you implemented energy management systems? Have you negotiated with vendors for energy-efficient equipment? Maybe even rallied your colleagues to embrace more sustainable practices? Share those wins.
It's all about taking action. I'm sensing a theme here, that STAR method again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
The more specific you can be, the better. Did you analyze energy consumption data and identify a pattern of excessive energy use during off hours? Did you successfully advocate for a switch to LED lighting throughout a building? Quantifiable results are key. So did your efforts reduce energy consumption by a certain percentage? Or save the company a significant amount of money? Those details pack a punch.
Yeah, it's like saying, look what I can do.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What do you think are the most effective ways to encourage individuals and businesses to adopt energy-saving practices? This feels like it requires a blend of psychology, marketing, and maybe even a touch of superhero persuasion.
Yes, it's about understanding what makes people tick. What motivates them? What are their barriers to change? And how can you tailor your approach accordingly? RoleCatcher's guide actually provides insights into different communication
Oh,
styles.
that's super helpful.
Because what resonates with the homeowner might not land the same way with a corporate executive.
Right. Totally different audiences that you're speaking to.
Exactly.
So instead of just saying, we need to educate people, it's about crafting a multi-pronged approach
Yes.
that speaks to different audiences.
Exactly.
What are some examples of those different approaches?
Well, financial incentives are always a big one. Highlighting the long-term cost savings of energy-efficient upgrades can be a game changer. For the environmentally conscious, focusing on the reduced carbon footprint might be the winning ticket. And for businesses, emphasizing the positive PR and enhanced brand image associated with sustainability can be super effective.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where sustainability meets their bottom line, their values, their aspirations. This is where having a tool like RoleCatcher in your back pocket would be amazing. Imagine being able to input the company's mission statement or values and having the AI suggest tailored messaging for your answers.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this technology. It can give you that extra edge by aligning your responses with the specific organization's culture and priorities.
That's awesome. Okay, next question, and this one's particularly relevant in today's fast-paced world. How do you stay up to date with the latest energy conservation trends and technologies? This field is constantly evolving, so how do you show them you're not stuck in the dark ages of incandescent bulbs?
Right. This is where you demonstrate your commitment to continuous learning. It's not enough to just say you read industry publications. Go deeper. Are you part of any professional organizations? Do you attend webinars or conferences? Maybe you even follow thought leaders on social media or contribute to online forums. Show them you're actively engaged in the conversation.
I love that. It's about demonstrating that inherent curiosity and drive to stay ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Now, this next question is a real-world doozy. How do you prioritize energy conservation projects within a limited budget?
Yeah.
The eternal struggle, limited resources, but boundless potential.
Right. The reality of the job. And this is where your analytical and strategic thinking skills come into play.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your responses to this type of question,
Cool.
assessing your problem-solving abilities,
Wow.
and identifying areas where you can strengthen your answer.
That's amazing. It's like having a virtual mentor guiding you towards those aha moments.
Exactly.
So how do we wow them with our answer? What's the secret sauce?
Start by outlining a clear evaluation process. How will you assess the potential energy savings of different projects? Are there industry standard metrics or calculations you can use to compare them objectively?
Okay, so it's not just about gut feeling.
Yeah.
It's about data-driven decision-making.
Exactly. And don't forget to factor in costs. Some projects might have a higher upfront investment, but offer significant long-term savings. Can you calculate the return on investment, ROI, to justify your choices?
Right. It's about demonstrating that you understand the financial implications
Yes.
and can make sound business decisions.
Yes.
But it's not just about numbers, is it?
No.
There's also the human element to consider.
Absolutely. Prioritizing projects within a company or community isn't a solo mission. It requires collaboration and buy-in from stakeholders. Who are the key decision makers? What are their priorities? Involving them in the process not only ensures their support, but also uncovers valuable insights that might have been missed otherwise.
It's like that saying, two heads are better than one,
Right.
especially when you're tackling complex energy challenges.
Yeah.
Now, for our next question, let's dive into project management. How do you ensure that energy conservation projects are implemented successfully? This feels like a question where organization communication and a healthy dose of flexibility are key.
Yes. You're hitting all the right notes.
Okay, good.
It's about showcasing your leadership skills, your ability to guide a project from conception to completion. Think back to projects you've led in the past.
Okay.
What were the key ingredients of success?
Yeah, so more than just saying, I'm a great project manager.
Right.
It's about backing it up with those concrete examples.
Yes. Paint a picture for them. Do you use project management software to stay organized and track progress? How do you communicate with stakeholders, keeping them in the loop and addressing concerns along the way? And perhaps most importantly, how do you adapt when things inevitably don't go according to plan?
Because as we all know, even the best laid plans can encounter unexpected detours.
Absolutely. The interviewer wants to know that you can handle those curveballs with grace and ingenuity.
Speaking of curveballs, let's tackle a challenge that's common in any field that involves change management. How do you address resistance from stakeholders to energy conservation initiatives? Even when the benefits are clear, people can be resistant to change. How do you navigate those choppy waters? It's like trying to convince someone to trade in their gas-guzzling car for an electric vehicle.
Hmm.
Even if it's better for the planet and their wallet, there's that comfort zone factor.
Definitely. Change can be tough.
Yeah.
But that's where your empathy and communication skills are really important. This question is all about, showing that you can understand different perspectives and address concerns and ultimately build consensus.
Okay, so how do we show them that we're like masters of persuasion without sounding like we're selling those used car parts?
Laughs. It's about being sincere and actively listening. You got to start by acknowledging their concerns. Don't just dismiss them even if you've heard it all before. Let them know you get where they're coming from.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your tone of voice when you're practicing these answers. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It can detect if you sound defensive or impatient,
Oh, that's helpful.
and it'll help you strike that perfect balance of empathy and authority.
Wow, that's next level. It's like having an emotional intelligence coach right there in the app.
Exactly. And once you've built that connection, you can start to gently nudge them towards a different way of thinking.
Yeah, how do we do that?
Have you ever heard of the feel, felt, found method?
That rings a bell. Refresh my memory.
It's a classic way to handle objections.
Okay.
So you acknowledge how they feel, you relate to their perspective by sharing a similar experience, and then you gently guide them towards a different outcome based on your own findings.
Oh, right. I've seen salespeople use that, but it makes total sense in this context.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, sure. Let's say a facility manager is hesitant to invest in a new building automation system because they're worried about the upfront cost and potential disruptions.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you could be like, I totally get how you feel. A lot of people feel that way initially. When I first started in this field, I felt the same way. But you know what I've found is that these systems often pay for themselves within a few years through energy savings.
Oh, wow.
Plus, they can actually make people more comfortable and productive, which are added bonuses.
I love that. It's empathetic, it's reassuring, and it really highlights those win-win outcomes.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We tackled those common interview questions, explored ways to come up with amazing answers, and even saw how RoleCatcher's AI can totally level up your prep. But before we wrap things up, let's zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about acing that interview,
Yeah.
but what about the bigger picture? What's it really like to be an energy conservation officer?
It's super rewarding, especially if you're passionate about sustainability and making a real difference. Every day brings new challenges and chances to try new things.
I bet there's never a dull moment. But it's not all sunshine and solar panels, right? What are some of the tougher parts of the job?
Well, like we talked about, getting funding for projects can be tough. And sometimes you're fighting an uphill battle against old infrastructure or people who just don't want to change. But, those challenges are also what make this field so interesting and exciting.
It's about being a change maker, a problem solver, an advocate for a greener future.
Exactly. And there are so many directions your career can go in. You might start as an energy auditor, then get experience in project management, and eventually end up in a leadership role within a company or organization. Some energy conservation officers even move into policy work, influencing regulations and creating a more sustainable future on a larger scale.
Wow, there are so many paths you can take. It's inspiring to know that this career can change as your interests and skills grow.
Totally. And no matter where you end up, the skills you build in this field, analyzing information, communication, problem solving, those are super valuable in any job.
It's like investing in your future while also investing in the planet's future. Talk about a win-win. This has been an incredible deep dive. We demystified the role of an energy conservation officer, gave you the tools to ace that interview, and hopefully got you fired up to go after a career that makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, with some passion, a little prep, and maybe some help from tools like RoleCatcher, you got this.
Yes, the future of energy conservation is in your hands. This is your name signing off, and we'll catch you on the flip side for another exciting deep dive.